The value is simply something that you place value on. Okay, it's very, very personal. There's no wrong or right. To give you an example, I've always played team sports, love sport, team sports, watch it, playing it. Stephen is nonplussed. So to me, team sports is a high value. To Stephen, not bothered. It's very low value. Now, reading, we've both got tons of books between us in the houses. And so reading to us is something we very, very highly value. Okay, right. So just conscious of time. So what I want to do now is go through the exercise. So there's 3 stages here in the workbook with Habit 15, 3 stages to go through. The first one is to elicit your highest values. Okay, so there's no wrong and right value. It's a very, very personal thing. Okay, so that's the first stage. So this isn't this is a one-off that you do to figure this out, and you might want to revisit it, every year, every couple of years, every 5 years. Okay, but the first time is very, very important. So it's an exercise that you take your time with, you get in a nice relaxed state, and you go through it. Now, rather than reinventing this or figuring out our own way, we've stolen somebody else's. There's a guy, American guru called Dr. John Demartini, who's a self-development guru. Now, he helps people find a purpose, the passion, the vocation, basically what we're doing here. And he's got this 13-question exercise to go through to help you elicit these. Very, very simple. Now, I'll pick 3 or 4 out. We've put this in the pack, but you can go to his website. If you Google Dr. John Demartini, I think it's .com, it's on there. So you can fill it online, or you can get it from our program. Just go and get it. Go through it on pen and paper, whatever feels appropriate. But here's a sample of the questions. So each one has 3 answers. 13 questions, 3 answers. The first one, how do you fill your space? Look carefully at 3 items that fill your personal, professional space. What 3 items do you see? Do you see certificates, awards, arts, paintings, crafts? Do you have business magazines, fashion magazines, books, pictures of family, yourself, friends? Write down concise answers of what 3 things mostly fill your space. So what we're doing intellectually, we're reading the question, but we're answering with our heart and soul. Okay, very personal. Nobody else needs to see this. This is only you. So another one. What do you inwardly think about most? Your mind will repeatedly focus on the things that mean something to you, related to your highest values. What are the dominant things you inwardly focus on? Is it an ideal family environment? Is it building your own dream business? Is it having a fantastic social circle and great social life? Is it falling in love with your dream partner? What 3 things do you focus on the most? So these are very simple questions. What do you talk about the most in social settings? This is a big reveal. Everybody wants to talk about the things that are important to them. What are the subjects that you want to bring up in yours or others' conversations that nobody has to remind you about? You become alive and an extrovert when the conversation turns to things that is really important to you. So what are the things you always want to talk about in conversations? Very, very great question, that reveal. So you've got 13 questions, very similar, that get you to think about, okay, what inspires you? Now, a couple of weeks ago, we're at a Mind Body Spirit show with myself and Stephen, and we both love reading. We both aspire to have at some point a library in our house. So purpose-built library, ceiling to floor, books, nice comfortable chair, which to us would be heaven. Just like a learning centre. And also got talking about going into bookstores like Waterstones, saying the best invention in modern times, one of the best inventions is putting coffee shops in bookstores. Now, we both love drinking coffee and we both love going in bookstores. Okay, now thinking, wow, what a fantastic invention. You can sit there, drink coffee, you can browse around. Now, that's a very good revealer. You go into a bookstore, if you like books, what sections are you drawn to? Now, when I go in there, it's the mind, body, spirit, the health stuff, the gardening stuff, the sports stuff I might look at, and the self-development. Yeah, I could spend couple of hours just going through those. So that reveals, laptop's just gone off, that reveals a lot about me. And I'm sure you can sense this through the camera. As I'm talking about this, my energy goes up because it's naturally an authentic part of me. That's stuff I value. Okay, so back to the exercise. Hopefully my computer will come back. Not that it matters as long as you can see me there. So 13 questions. You put the three answers for each one. So you then got 39 answers. Now, once you've done that, and this is take your time, there's no rush at all. You'll find you're putting the same answer multiple times. Now, if you do it online, it collates it for you, or we put it in the program, in the guidebook, so you can do it, print it off and do it pen and paper. You then collate your top ones, the ones that come up. So you might have 7 or 8 that you've actually written down more than once. So you put them in a league table. So the one you've answered the most, that is the most frequent, goes at the top. And 2, 3, 4, like that. And then you'll have a concise table of the things that enthuse you. Okay, so that's the first bit, is going through that, is figuring out what your highest values are, and it becomes obvious. You should feel good as you're doing this, because you're focusing on what raises your energy. Once you've done that, stage 2 is to now align your life with these. Now, this is not overnight. This is take as long as you need. It could be weeks, months to do this. So once you've figured out what really energizes you, it's then build it into your life. Now, let's say you have a busy family life and never enough time, and you begrudgingly do your garden because it's, you want to have a nice garden, but you don't really like it. Okay, you pay somebody like me to come in and sort your garden for you, so you can spend that 4 hours a week that you begrudgingly do with the things that uplift you, inspire you. Now, that's common sense. And obviously there are monetary considerations, but that's what we're talking about here. The stuff that you feel obligated to do that doesn't fill you with energy, ditch that if you can and give it to somebody who will do it for you, so you can spend time doing what you're doing. It's common sense, but life tends to get us in the way and drag us in different directions, and we end up doing things out of drudgery and sometimes resentment because we feel we have to, rather than spending time doing the things that we want to do. Okay, now that's all aligning is okay, just taking your time. Always do this when you're in a nice relaxed state. Answer all the questions, figure out your values. Okay, how can I weave this into my everyday life so I spend my time doing inspired actions that enthuse me, that raise my energy, that give me the fulfillment? Because if you're doing drudgery, stuff that you feel obligated, that doesn't enthuse you at all, and you do too much of it, it pulls your energy down. Common sense. After so long, you become resentful, and that's where midlife crises come from. It's like your soul screaming, "Stop it!" I've gone through this experience when I had this void. Okay, so that's it. So the first thing is this: figure out what your values are. Use the exercise. It is very, very simple, but very, very revealing at the same time, and it's enjoyable. Then you sit down and analyze them and align your values. No rush. Take weeks, months if you need to. Start tweaking your life so you're bringing these values in, so you're starting to live an inspired life. That's where the fulfillment comes from, doing the things that raise your energy and starting to get rid of, where you can, the things that drain your energy. Okay, and then the final section, so there's 3 parts to this. The final section is just continually monitoring on a daily basis, weekly basis. Am I living in accordance with my highest values? If you're not, it's keep tweaking. This is common sense. If we could set the rules tomorrow for a brand new life, of course we would do this. Now, as we said, through financial commitments or pressures of everyday life, we tend to get knocked off track and get molded and conditioned and forget, we're here to make the best of it, find our purpose, find our vocation and live it. Because that's where health, happiness, inspired life, a fulfilled and happy, inspired life comes from, is doing what you love to do, that you don't really need pain to do. You would do it regardless, because it feels so good. Like what me and Stephen have been doing over the last 3 weeks, because we want to get this information out there with no attachment to what happens, because it is part of us, part of our soul urge to want to help others. Okay, right. I think I've laboured the point. So, if you've got the guidebook, Habit 15, it's in there. Please go and get it. Don't feel like you've got to donate. That's just optional. We want people using this stuff. Or you can go to drjohndmartini.com. Put it in there. He's well known. You'll see it come up on his website. You can go through it, fill it all in, and it compiles it for you, the league table. So it ranks them. This is your most common answer, second most common. So you can see, like, the top half a dozen will be your highest values. And then you've got to do the next bit yourself. You then sit back, okay, weave this into your life. So you start to live a life with more purpose.